the melanin queen. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu. Sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu. Sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba. Sina hela, sina pesa, sina doo, sina nyumba, sina gari, sina hoo. Kila kukikucha minawaza kesho, tapiga moyo konde nitafika hoo. Wanaokudharau leo watakusalimia kesho. Wanaokusema sema watakusifia kesho. Unaokula nao na kucheka nao, kesho kidondoka utakuwa nao. Piga moyo konde, wakati wa Mungu, wakati sahihi. Piga moyo konde, wakati wa Baba, wakati sahihi. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu. Sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu. Sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba. Jana niliumwa nikadhani nitakufa, leo niko fiti, ukinicheki nadumbika. Nilipojishwa kazi walidhani nitasota, leo niko juu, ile kibosi nadumbika. Kama unaamini umesaidiwa na Mungu, piga kelele, kelele mbili. Kama unaamini umesaidiwa na Mungu, piga kelele, kelele moja, kelele mbili. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu. Sisi ndo wale tuliobarikiwa na Baba. Sisi ni wale tuliosaidiwa na Mungu.
Yeah, that is at night, and it also depends on how the time you take. So today, I want us to discuss a topic that affects most women in our society, and mostly between the age of 15 years to 50 years old, and that is hormonal imbalance and estrogen levels. So you find that majority of these women let's say junk foods, for example, a lot of chips and such. The next is stress and or depression. And nowadays we have a lot of stress and depression affecting our community. So this also causes hormonal imbalance. We also have contraceptive medications, and we understand that this is at the reproductive stage of most women. So the use of these contraceptives affects their hormones. The next one is the consumption of non-organic and animal products with excessive amounts of estrogen and cosmetics. For example, You find that we take meat from animals that have just been recently injected with hormones, maybe to boost their production, but forgetting that these animals, the hormones that they have gained into their bodies are also going to be transmitted into our blood circulation system, and therefore this also will affect the hormones of these women. Estrogen hormone level depending with the age. We say that the climax estrogen level is at age 35 and it declines as the age increases. For example, at 80, these women have very low estrogen levels as compared to the age between 30 and 40. So it therefore declines as we grow older. The other one is eating disorders. We have the first one, anorexia. Anorexia can be caused, it can be genetical. For example, if in your family you are termed as, petite bodies, that you are very slim, so that can be one of the causes. The other one is we all want to gain a certain figure, so we tend not to eat so that we are slim, we look good, and you're eating too much food to an extent you force yourself to throw up or to remove this food via vomiting. The other one is decline of ovary function. So we move to our next slide and understand what are the symptoms. So one of the symptoms of hormonal imbalance is acne. That is, you have a face which looks as if it has some pimples. The other one is oily skin. The other one is fever. So you have temperatures. The normal temperature of the body is 37 degrees Celsius. So it ranges from 37 to 37.2. But you find that you may have a temperature of 38 degrees Celsius. So the other one is irregular menstruation. You find that your cycle changes, maybe from, if you have your menses after 28 days, you find that it changes with time. If you get your menses this month on the 20th, then next month you may have them earlier or later. Then you have the UTI, that is the urinary tract infections, very common, and then we have headache. Of course, a headache signifies you that something is not working right in your body. So we move to estrogen levels. What are the symptoms? In this case of when the skin is dry, you need to use water together with the oil so that at least the skin, can accept that oil. So that can be a sign of low estrogen levels. It's very common to people of old age. Then we go to moodiness and irritability. You find that these women who have low estrogen levels, they tend to be so moody and they are very easy to be irritated. And the other one is low concentration. Maybe, for example, like right now we are in a session, you find that these people, they can't concentrate. For example, women at the age of 60, majority, I won't say all of them, but majority of them, they have low concentration. They cannot sit for more than 2 hours to listen to something. They have to wake up and leave. Then the other one is night sweats and hot flashes, especially at menopause, which hits people from around 45 to 50s. You find that at night, people tend to sweat so much. And this sweat, they don't even understand why. The other one, the hot flashes, when you have intense increase of body temperature, that is the upper part, especially the neck, the back and the face. You sweat rapidly and then the sweat is over after some few minutes. Then we have weak or brittle bones. So when your bones are weak, there are high chances of fractures. And so those are just some of the symptoms of the low estrogen levels and the hormonal imbalance. So after understanding the causes and the symptoms, what next? So what's the treatment? How do we deal with these conditions? And one of them is where Green World, we come in and we introduce a product which we call Soy Power Capsule. So the Soy Power Capsule, which I have here, has various ingredients. And one of the ingredients, we call it the isoflavones. The other one is ganoderma. Then we have semenglycin. Then we have radix, peony, alba extractum. We are going to go down into one of them, which is the key ingredient, that really helps our bodies as women, which is the soy isoflavones. And just to discuss a little bit about it, what are isoflavones? As plants, they also have, there are different concentrations of chemicals. And one of them, the isoflavones, it's a group of plant-based chemicals called phytoestrogen, which acts more of a form of estrogen in the body, but a weaker form of it. So the isoflavone has two key ingredients, or the two key main elements, which is genistein and daidzein. So, for example, when a bacteria they're responsible for breaking down the soy into its more active forms. So when this bacteria breaks the soil into more active form, then we have the release of these compounds which they attach themselves into receptors, bind the same receptors as the estrogens. And from this, you find that we are able to deal with the hot flashes, the menopause effects, and therefore it's very, very helpful to us women. So what are the health benefits of the Soy Power Capsule? Apart from the hormonal imbalance and the estrogen levels, we also have other uses of this Soy Power Capsule. And one of them is preventing the decline of ovary function. The second one is reduce the loss of bone density and prevent osteoporosis. To deeper into these topics, so I'm just going to brush through on this slide and now we discuss one by one. So the third one is prevent atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. Then we have prevents breast cancer, improve memory and prevent dementia. Then we have to nourish the skin and makes it smooth and elastic. So we start with the first one, which is prevents the eggs and therefore maintaining the reproductive. It also secretes hormone, and that is the estrogen and progesterone, which is very vital into the reproductive development and fertility of women. So how does the soy capsule work in preventing the decline of the ovary function? So we've said that the key element in the soy capsule is the isoflavone, or rather the active ingredient, which is a phytoestrogen or a weaker form of it in plants. So what happens, it balances the female hormones, especially before menopause and after menopause. We also have another point that prevents osteoporosis and reduces loss is weak bones, whereby they look as if they have, some spores in them. And these bones are very prone to breaking or to fractures. And therefore, our soy power capsule plays an important role in maintaining strong and healthy bones. The other one, it improves losing the bone density, which of course should be higher so that it's able to support the weight of your body. The soy power capsule improves the density of the bones and also makes your bones firm, and therefore they do not look that porous. So you are safe from fractures. We understand that women we have a lot of chores at home. You need to take care of your kids and you need sometimes to carry them. But if you have osteoporosis, then this becomes a bit tough for you because you're not able to lift your kids. Another thing, you may experience a lower back pain. And for example, you have very common in women. For example, you have people at very young age complaining of back pains. And one of these causes could be that maybe your spinal cord has a defect. For example, it could be having maybe an osteoporosis, one of the bones in the spinal cord maybe has a fracture. So if you have such a condition, come for checkups. Let's take you through the treatment session, and for sure you'll be okay. Then the other one, it prevents and improves osteoporosis, which we've talked about. So you move to the next one, which is prevents cardiovascular diseases or atherosclerosis. Cardiovascular diseases, these are diseases related to the heart. And so we understand that the heart is the one that pumps blood into our body. And if the heart is faulty, then of course our bodies cannot function normally. And so we have to take care of our hearts the right way. And one of them is giving it the right, the right treatment that it requires. And the soy capsule has antioxidant properties that prevents oxidation of LDL cholesterol. We understand that we have the harmful cholesterol and we have the good cholesterol. So it prevents that oxidation of that cholesterol. The other thing, it also inhibits growth of cells that causes artery clogging. For example, the main artery in our body is the aorta. If the aorta clogs, then of course there will be problem with blood getting to our blood systems. Remember, we have the arteries and we have the veins. So we need to take care not to clog our blood vessels so that we have continuous blood flow. And we have the Soy Power Capsule, which does this so well. Then from there, it prevents breast cancer. Okay, cancer is increased multiplication of cells or rapid multiplication of cells. So when we have high blood levels of estrogen, then you are at a high risk of getting breast cancer. So the isoflavones, as the phytoestrogen, remember, they make this, that is the weak form of the estrogen. It competes with the estrogen receptors, blocking the stronger naturally produced estrogen by the body from exerting its effect. So when we have the phytoestrogen being released by the soy capsule, that is the isoflavone, it is going to to bind itself to the receptors, and therefore if you have high estrogen levels, then they are not able to counter the phytoestrogen, and therefore you are able to fight or to prevent breast cancer. So the other one is improving memory and preventing dementia. Dementia is a condition whereby you tend to forget so much, most common in old people, but also in young people, but most common in old people, both women and men. So the isoflavone helps boost the mood, and it also improves memory. And that is by the dipeptides derived from the soy foods, which minimizes memory degradation. The soy capsule, soy is a protein in one way or another. So what happens is it does not break down all the cells that requires for you to boost your memory and such. So it prevents that degradation. The other one is nourishes skin, makes skin smooth and elastic. How? So you find that sometimes we have our skin a bit rough and elastic. Remember we said when you have low estrogen levels, what happens is uh, your skin, you may tend to have a dry skin. Also, when you have a hormonal imbalance, you may tend to have acne or oily skin. Now, the isoflavones, they tend to make our skin smooth and elastic. Of course, when you have a smooth skin, from it cuts across all the ladies. When you have a smooth skin, then we term you as, you have that self-esteem, high self-esteem. You are confident enough, to stand in front of people and talk. So it's a good product to ladies, and good to use. So what is it suitable for, and how can we use the soy power capsule? So we recommend that you take 1 to 2 capsules 1 to 2 times a day. That is in the morning or in the evening. That is depending on what you're going to be told once you visit our offices upon your treatment. So it's suitable for females with premenstruation tension, females with postmenopausal syndrome. Remember the hot flashes. Then the other one is unbalanced hormone and declined estrogen. Then people with lower bone density or osteoporosis. Females with infertility caused by low estrogen level. females with anxiety and poor quality of sleep, females who intend to improve their sexuality. Once you have a hormonal imbalance, you tend to have low sexual drive. So if you have such a condition, I would advise you to consume soy power capsules so that you are able to boost your sex drive, you reduce anxiety, you get good quality of sleep, you avoid osteoporosis, and also avoid the postmenopausal syndrome. So we are
wanaokudharau leo watakusalia